Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. My name is Matthew, and today we're here with another figure showdown. This one's gonna be kind of different, because previously I did the NECA versus Playmates, two of them actually. But now NECA really has a challenge. A true challenge. A competitor that's actually been a competitor for years. So, let's lay it on. In this corner, we have the NECA Godzilla V2, one of my absolute favorite figures in the entire collection and of all time. And in this corner, we have my newly acquired SH Monster Arts Godzilla with Heat Ray. Sorry, Godzilla not with Heat Ray. From 2021's Godzilla vs. Kong. These two are pretty dang similar, yet also very different. They're not exactly from the same movie, but they're almost from the exact same design. Keep in mind there are design changes from King of the Monsters to Godzilla vs. Kong, but honestly, we already pit a GVK Godzilla up against a King of the Monsters Godzilla in the last video, or the last time that we did something like this. So I don't think it's that far off to really compare these two in terms of quality and whatnot. So, if you don't know how this game is played, we go off 6 rounds. Sculpt and paint, articulation, size, accessories, price, and availability. So let's go with the first round, which is sculpt and paint. I just dropped something right there. Honestly, let's start with the monster arts, because I feel like we should at least see what this guy has to offer. I'm going to briefly go over because I've already been over it like a few times. The head looks wonderful. The sculpted details are amazing. Pearly blue eyes, glossy paint in the mouth, nice colored tongue. Sculpted details across the body look magnificent. Nice dry brushing at the chest. Looks really nicely crispy clean. Different color, kind of glossy, kind of dry brushing color for the claws. Different color than the chest. I kind of didn't notice that at first. Okay. Claw paint for the claws. Nice detailing going all the way across the body, and going all the way down to the tip of the tail. No real dry brushing, except the dorsal fins are beautifully painted as like a crystallized blue almost. This really does look like Monster Arts. Tamashii Nations and Bandai just did a whole heck of a good job with this. So I definitely commend Bandai for trying their best. Or actually, I don't really think it's their best work, because I have seen Monster Arts with figures with better sculpt and paints. But you know, that's actually fairly up there. Now, next is the NECA, which, as you can tell, let's not be biased here because I prefer NECA over Monster Arts any day of the week. The eye paint's really good with some nice variations. The mouth paint looks pretty dang good. I would say it actually looks better than the Monster Arts, because while the Monster Arts is one pure color, this has a whole ton of colors. And ultimately, it just looks more crisply painted, honestly. The gills look really nicely painted. There's like way more paint, like way more veins, seeping in through the cracks and crevices of Godzilla's skin. Metallic blue finish on the body. Just looks so dang good. The tail looks really nice. Only the bottom is kind of unpainted, but even then there's some mild paint going on. And for the stomach, chest, looks really nice with all the blue paint. And the claws look, once again, absolutely fantastic. Not too much going on here, aside from some really nice glossy toenails and some mild paint going on the legs. So when I really just kind of compare these two in terms of sculpt and paint, they're completely different worlds. But I am actually gonna give this point to the NECA, because here's why. He might have the more defined details. You rub your finger on both of them and you feel more detailing on the Monster Arts. But he has a more even balance between paint and sculpted details that make him, in my opinion, the superior one when it comes to visual flair, I guess. Because he has good dorsal fins, but so does he. He has good mouth paint, but he has more variation. Because look at all this, and look at all this. I feel like having this is better than having all nothing, aside from just the detailing, and literally no color aside from charcoal black to gray. So, for that reason, I'm going to have to give this point to Sculpt and Paint to the NECA. Round 2, Articulation. Both figures move their heads on a ball joint. However, my NECA one is kind of stiff even after all these years. But the Monstars, you can get some pretty good poses. I feel like you get a much better range with the NECA, assuming that mine was actually, like, not stiff. Both of the figures can move their jaws. The Monstars can move its tongue, while the NECA stays static. Both of them can move their necks. There you go. Very tight. But once again, I know the range is there because I literally have 2 other figures, no, 3 that share the exact same mold and can move their necks fine. So, there you go. Monstars can move its neck in a whole ton of different directions. And there's also another joint down here, which is kind of useless, honestly. For the shoulders, not too much going on. Got some nice rotations in and out. It's kind of weird how I'm actually going to touch that later in the video. For the NECA here, you have a ball joint at the shoulder, hinge at the elbow with the ball joint also plugging in, and a ball joint that plugs into the forearm, and a hinge that can go up and down and can twist. So basically, you got 3 primary joints. For the Monstars, you get a ball joint here, double hinge style, and then ball joints again, and then kind of a hot toy style peg ball joint hybrid wrist joint going on. For the waist, 1 joint for the NECA does move quite a bit. The Monstars, I would say, has 2 joints at the hips, or waist, I mean, right here. And I would say that the NECA's waist joints is honestly better because you can actually get a nice rotation out of it. While this one, okay, you have to really push it, but it grinds up against the sculpt too much, so would not recommend that. For other things, hips can go in and out like this. Bend at the knee really tightly, but you can also get a rotation. And I got some joints at the feet. There we go, showing it on camera. Ball joints at the feet, and then here we get a ball joint here at the hip, double hinge at the knee, and double ball joint here at the calf and the shin and the calf. So I got those joints too. Now, NECA. 10 segments going around this whole thing. Pretty good. Monstars does that with more joints. But you hear that? Yeah. So, who do I think wins Articulation? Well, they completely have 2 different approaches. It's actually quite interesting how it's engineered. See, the NECA is just purely 1 mold, cut. It's cut into a lot of different pieces and then put together with joints. And because of that, it's all solid. Everything is solid. There's no hollow parts to the figure. This is actually purely hollow with a lot of joint system inside. The best way to properly explain it is to look inside here. You can definitely see like all the joint compartments in here, see? It's hollow just with a bunch of joint compartments. So I think that's like a rather interesting way to go. And there's a lot of cool ways you can actually get around, okay. To really determine a winner here, let's look at a main example, the hips. The hips on the monster arts take a completely different route. Godzilla's known for having lots of sumo wrestling poses, so you can definitely get some nice in and out at the hips. But how they did it was, instead of just simply cutting it, they actually added a bridge of thigh sculpt. So when you go to plug it in, you can do it like this, and it looks rather seamless. And then there's there, no gap. Or I guess until you go like that. But then you can slide it with the barbell style ball joint that really does not want to move, or rotate it upwards to hide the gap, assuming that it actually work. And the only downside is that because of the in-bridge sculpt, when you try to go in for a neutral pose, the two bridge sculpts come in and collide in with each other. The NECA uses kind of a disc style cut, so it's rotating in a very weird way because the ball joint's so high up. But because of that, it's a barbell style ball joint, and you can kind of go in and out, forward and back, just whatever you wish. And that doesn't really cause too much gappage. And what kind of gappage can be whatever kind of gappage is on the figures can be easily covered thanks to the fact that they both use barbell style ball joints, hitting my camera right there. But which one do I think personally pulls it off better? More posability, yes. Less gappage. And doesn't pop off as frequently, even though this one actually doesn't pop off all that much. I might actually have to give this a tie. And then hold on. I know I just said that this guy has more posability. Remember, there's more to articulation than just simply posability. It's how well it functions. Every time I'm holding this thing, it can easily pop off. Now I've had things where times that the head has popped off, the wrist has popped off, and I almost thought I broke it. Well, still almost 3 years later, I've had this thing. Not once has it popped off on me. At least I don't think so. If it has popped off, it's mainly the tail, which I intentionally did. But even then, yeah, that's not coming off anytime soon. If I did that with the monster, it's fine. Okay, I stand corrected there, but I'm just saying, this feels more solid. I've had this for 3 years. It has not popped off once. This is going to pop off in the next month or so like crazy if I keep moving it. So it's going to be a tie because he has more posability, but he doesn't pop off as much, which, well, we know how that goes. Size is a bit of a doozy since both figures, honestly, are pretty much relatively the same height. So, I guess that's another tie. How else are we supposed to judge size? Although I will say the NECA is, way heavier. Oh, yeah, that feels way heavier. So, what about round 4? Not articulation, accessories. The NECA V2, you should already know by now, comes with a beam effect and the impact base for the beam effect, which applying it has never been easier. You just simply plug it in. And this is actually kind of more complex, but you just simply rest this on something or just have Godzilla shooting towards the ground, which is more useful than ever considering the fact that one of the most famous scenes in Godzilla vs. Kong is him shooting his beam into the ground, into the hollow earth. So, there you go. What does the Godzilla 2021 SH Monsters come with? Spare hands. No beam effect. No Orca. No MG head. No lodged axe. Not even an explosion. No tank. Just hands. Now, admittedly, yes, I do understand the reason why this guy didn't come with beams, because SHMA probably released this under the impression that you already had the 2019 molds, which already had beams from its original vanilla release, the poster version release, and the that special event exclusive Blueberry Burst version that's entire, like basically this, but in completely translucent blue. So they just felt like doing it for like a fifth time, counting the Monster Arts 2014 Spitfire Godzilla, would just be overkill. Not everyone has that figure. Me as a prominent example. So, I mean, admittedly, yes, it is compatible. I literally determined that last week. Or, I guess, last video. See, it can fit in the mouth. And because of the head posability on this, you could get more poses with it. But it was not really its intention, and it doesn't really go in all the way. Not to mention, it kind of droops in the mouth. So it's not really meant for the NECA beam. And because that the NECA actually comes with beam effects and stuff, and people that accessories that people would actually want, which, answer me this. Would you rather have this, some cool beam effects, or splayed hands that are barely different than the ones that that Godzilla already comes with? I know these hands are like scratched out and everything, but like, come on. NECA V2 is winning the accessories round. Round 5 price, and with a price of $20 to $25 at retail, the NECA butt slams the Monster Arts. At retail, I think this is about like $60, $70, $80. But even then, I got this guy for a discount. But even despite then, this was the one. Like, round over, NECA wins. And round 6 availability. He's unfortunately been discontinued, but he is somehow still on the market for retail. I am aware that there are actually some stores out there that still have these, either as donations or on clearance or whatever. And remember, he's a newer figure, so he's probably still on various websites, various .coms and whatnot. So honestly, I've seen this guy more than him, and I was snooping for figures for like the longest time, so it's kind of difficult to determine, but he's all over the place. Amazon, eBay, but so is him, but for more money. He has a higher price value and everything. So screw it. It's a tie. Honestly, even though I've seen him more than him, he's been discontinued for years, so I doubt many retailers have him left. But then again, not much retailers pick him up. I can't really recall the last time that a Walmart picked up Monster Arts figures. Maybe they have or something. I'm actually not sure. So, what's the point? Round 1 went to the NECA because of its better balancing. Both figures won the point in articulation, sculpt and paint, and then articulation. And then size went to a tie for both. Accessories went to the NECA. Price went to the NECA, and availability went to both of them. So that's 6-3. NECA completely dog walks this fight. So that means the NECA V2 Godzilla is the winner of this battle. However, I don't think that this video should really change your, is not my way of attacking your opinion. I respect all opinions, and if you think the SHMA is better than the NECA, I respect that, you know. Honestly, I would say that in some ways, this could very well be better than this. But I just saying, like, for the most part, I just do prefer this guy over this guy. But you know, he's a newcomer to the collection. Literally just got him the other day, so Who knows? Maybe over time it might grow on me. But that being said, this opens the door now to pit him against his Playmate counterparts and his Funko Pop counterparts, which I will do, even though it's unfair. This is literally $20 versus $100. Come on. But that being said, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys did, definitely subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, everyone.